don't forget that this is a state that's got considerable challenges, and as a result, we expect them to give us the kind of focus. I think that's in large part how they made a decision on a phone call to grant us the field hospital, even though they don't see New Mexico yet as a priority. I think it's clear that in particular with the Navajo Nation, with the challenges where we have to have a coordinated effort between Arizona and Utah, and that because of the rural frontier nature, there's incredible leadership by both the president and vice president and the council. We're very clear that we've got elders living in very remote areas without running vice president phones, that we're going to have to do things differently. So my focus and comments were intended areas.
With them about new messaging. Don't send a whole family for grocery store shopping. Let's have one location and say, and now I'm really focused on the Navajo Nation, but we're going to do this for all of our sovereign nations. Let's have a location in McKinley County for grocery store shopping. Let's have a location in San Juan County. Let's think about ways to coordinate this so our social distancing concepts take hold in a more meaningful way. And so I appreciate that the White House responded immediately based on those comments, and I appreciate the leadership and the partnering by the Navajo Nation and every single sovereign nation in the state of New Mexico. It was clear that if we work harder together, we can protect more Mexicans and more Native Americans, and that's our obligation and our role. Thank you, Governor. From the Associated Press, where are the potential gaps in medical personnel in New Mexico right now? Is the state recruiting retired medical personnel or student medical personnel?
testing supplies, the stuff on the front end, the swabs. You get the reagents on the back end so that each instrument has everything it needs to run these tests for us and give us the results. If we put everything together, and that's our plan, we have the ability to get somewhere between 4,500 and potentially we could run 5,000 tests a day. That would take us all the way through April to get all of that equipment.
Single thing in their power. And I'm confident that with this kind of aggressive work, we're going to get there. And I'm very excited about the opportunity to build capacity every single day.
Thank you, Governor. Dr. Scrape, we had a couple follow-up questions after we visit the modeling of the specific numbers that we are estimating right now.
Well, my understanding is, what I did, attempted to do is compare and contrast Washington model that we all saw a lot of in the media the weekend, where they predicted 2.5% of our population infected, 5,000 cases, 529 deaths. What we think is a more realistic, not as desirable, a more realistic model. I reminded folks that this year affected 14% of the population pre-pandemic. In 1918, 33 to 50% of the population would be more easily spread than died. So we think higher numbers. We have not exactly percent. I also contrasted the peak data for 5.2, predicted by the University of Washington, with our variety of peak days. The point that New Mexico isn't one homogeneous population, population, so that peak curve is the sum of many curves. We believe we're going to see the beginning of a significant surge in the northwestern part of New Mexico. Soon, very soon, weeks, whereas we think in general sustain, if we're lucky enough to look out April or past early May or late May. I can give specific numbers about ventilator supply and sorts of things that are likely to be those now. The main goal that the medical advisory team is working on is trying to double capacity in this area. So we encourage New Mexicans to use contact with each other. That surge is not as high. The federal government released guidelines today on how to do ventilators. So supply go farther. And the number one recommendation was social distancing. Because if you don't get social distance, you're less likely to get COVID, less likely to get to the hospital, in an ICU. So I think those are the key points that we can make more precise. The model also be refined based on data every week. We'll have a projection that double 5 weeks longer, and next week we're at 5. That week is going to be later, and it's going to be shallower. So we have an opportunity to make a difference.
Thank you, Dr. Scrape. Governor, from New Mexico in depth, there are many New Mexicans, as you mentioned, still driving around, going places that aren't identified as essential. Is there anything you can do to strengthen the stay-at-home order so that folks are staying home?
We think there are. We've continued to refine and work with partners. So I talked about the faith-based community really hitting home that these, although they're exempted, that these congregate services are hugely problematic and incredibly risky. There are some states in the country, including Florida, who have restricted that by virtue of an order. We have refined essential businesses. We're going to continue to do that. We are working with big box stores and grocery stores to make sure that metering, limiting the number of folks who are in at one time, and really working to prevent the allowance of congregating in lines, and that just defeats the entire purpose. And I know New Mexicans are worried about making sure that they have necessary supplies in their home every week. We have increased the limit, the weight limit, for each truck bringing in these commodities and personal items. And when you don't do that, because it's really tough on your roads and have some public safety impacts. So without creating more public safety issues on our roads, but recognizing we need more goods and supplies getting here and leveraging, I've lifted that restriction so that our trucks can be heavier, so that more stuff is coming, so that people can feel a bit more secure about spending less time trying to get everything in one effort and spending more time and not doing social distancing. Right? We can do a better job. It is unacceptable for New Mexico to have a C. We can have an A. That changes everything to an A. We've been light on enforcement because we want people to understand these restrictions, understand our stay-at-home instruction, and to apply. There are other things our public safety officers need to be doing. But if that's a vehicle for increasing social distancing and minimizing social contact, it's something that could be under consideration. Our community containment strategies being discussed. So we're clear about the number of people traveling great distances from one county to another and making multiple stops. We need to bring more services to individuals who have no other choice but to do that. So these are the things that people should expect us to look at, and I've alerted you by today's press conference that we will be extending our public health orders through the end of April. These are all things that I can do that narrow, right, exposure to other humans, and people should expect us to keep leveraging that in any way that I have the power to do so.
Thank you, Governor. One last one. We had a couple questions broadly about distance learning and the plans the schools have put in place, as well as a couple questions broadly about economic recovery. If there was anything you want to touch on those two.
I do. I mean, those two topics by themselves deserve incredible attention. And I want to commend our secretaries whose plan is being looked at by any number of states around the country. You know, we've created a plan to get notebooks out to every student. I mean, that's been a real challenge for a number of states that close schools but don't have the equipment to provide to their families and students. So we're doing that. We are going to have some real issues in places where you don't have internet service and broadband. So we have to figure out what we can do about that and what that plan looks like, right? Is that using televised programming? Is that utilizing telephonic call-in distance learning? We have to figure it out. I think it might be worthwhile to have a section on education that we build in to our website so people know what we're doing, how we're handling special education students, and the like. We need to do more, but I'm confident that we are moving ahead and really making sure that we address every single challenge to the highest degree. Our students deserve that from this state, and so we're putting together those resources. And I'm going to direct that as, I don't know that we'll do it tomorrow, but New Mexico, before the end of the week, should expect my economic team to create a call-in news conference and to invite, say, certain business sectors or chambers or economic development folks around the state so that they know what the federal stimulus package is looking like. You know, we're all expecting checks to get into households' hands in the next 3 weeks. We're getting information from the federal government. A little bit is trickling out every day about what that's going to look like. But we can talk about any number of strategies. We're not going to enforce, right, getting your licenses renewed.
I think it's important that
I don't want people to worry about getting any of that done. I want folks to know that the federal government is going to give us an opportunity